What's up, everyone? This is Chris Talks Crypto. Taking a look at a stock today, looking at Riot Platforms. So Riot is a Bitcoin mining company. Been on a Bitcoin mining company kick. Talked about Marathon Digital Holdings the other day, and we're going to talk about Riot today. So again, like I said, Riot is a Bitcoin mining company building the world's leading Bitcoin-driven infrastructure platform. So, I mean, they are primarily based in Texas and Denver, Colorado. I think this is one of their sites. And from what I was reading, they have the largest at this point Bitcoin mining facility, either in the world or North America, which is, that's impressive. So Riot, they've actually been around since about 2000. Let's take a look here. Bitcoin mining. So they have the Rockdale facility, and that is in Central Texas. North America's largest Bitcoin mining facility by developed capacity. So it is the biggest in North America, at least. 700 megawatts of power. So that's huge. You're pushing gigawatts at that point. So a lot of power put in this facility, a lot of hardcore electrical engineering going on here. So this is impressive. Corsicana, which is it's a little bit south of Dallas. Riot Platforms 1 gigawatt development. So this is going to be even bigger than their other one. So yeah, they're going to, for sure. I mean, I don't know what the biggest one in the world is, but if 700 megawatts was enough to get in North America, I'm sure that's toppling some other stuff too. So, 265 acres. So like they're on the move. Again, these mining operations, they're going to get larger and larger scale as time goes by. You're going to need more and more power. So that's why we're talking about like gigawatts and 700, megawatts and stuff like that. This is a lot of power that's being utilized by these things. So a lot of hardcore engineering going on there for sure. So looking at the financials, Riot Platforms, it's $11.21 for the stock right now. Let's take a look at their market cap is $2.3 billion. So I want to say that Marathon Digital Holdings, theirs was like $4 billion. So it's like almost about half of that. Net income negative 500 some million. Again, that does not surprise me because we have been in a bear market for about 2 years. So since the beginning of 2022, we've been on the downslope, and then now we're finally back into the bull market coming into late 2023 and early 2024. So we're in a good spot, and this is going to go up for sure as Bitcoin's price increases. Revenue 259 million, about 185 million in shares floating out there. Technology sector, what else do you have? Jason Less is the CEO. I have no idea who that is. I'll have to look into his background. Riot Platforms, they are a Bitcoin mining company engaged in the provision of special cryptocurrency mining computers, invested in Verandi Coin Squared tests. The firm operates through the following segments: Bitcoin mining, data center hosting, and engineering. So I'm thinking that they've been around since 2000. So I think that they were probably like a data center and engineering company first, and then they added Bitcoin mining on the back end, which was very smart on their part. They were able to have that foresight, and it's gonna pay them handsomely. I think so. Let's take a look at the chart here. Looking at the chart, this is a monthly chart. So again, they are founded in 2000. They opened up they IPO'd, I guess, around 2003. So coming off the heels of the dot-com bubble and all that, so they didn't go anywhere. They had a huge run up in 2007, as most top stocks did, and then obviously the Great Recession. So interesting to see that, and then it did nothing for years, like 2012. Look at this, and this will probably, obviously this is dwarfing it, but like it didn't really do anything. It was kind of flat for years. But when you zoom in, it starts to get interesting. Like people kind of discarded it, and they probably got into the Bitcoin space around this time. And then, you had your drop off. So your drop off in 2014, you had the 2017 run up. So it went from roughly $4 a share to 47. That's a 10x. That's pretty good money. This one went from $1.83 in around this time before 2021. And then it ran up to 78. So that's a 70x. So that is fantastic. And then people forget about it again, and we go all the way back down to $11 or something. But then the question is, like, what could it do this time? So now they're expanding their capacity. They have the largest mining facility in North America. The Bitcoin ETF has just gotten approved, so demand has gone up, which incentivizes them to put more capacity online. So all I see for this is going up. This is going to go up because, again, there are only a few major players in the Bitcoin mining space right now. You have Riot Platforms, you have Marathon Digital Holdings, and I'm talking about American companies because obviously they're Bitcoin mining all around the world. But right now, it's still a very, I think, undervalued sector of the crypto space because, again, we haven't tapped into the full demand. That the halving is coming up. It's going to get more and more difficult to be able to mine. So this is going to get more centralized as time goes on. There's going to be a few key players that do all of the mining. And from there on out, like, it's just going to be, it's going to it's going to take more and more engineering. It's going to take more and more computations. It's going to take more and more power to be able to actually mine Bitcoin. So it's going to be kind of localized to a few companies. I think Riot is definitely going to be one of those. Riot, Marathon. There's probably a few others, but these are some of the big ones that have, like, IPO'd stocks at this point that are available. So again, that's the monthly chart. Let's take a look at where we could potentially go. So right now, again, we're at $11. Let's take a look at, you could potentially get to 43. You'll definitely break all-time highs since we have this new Bitcoin demand. And with the ETF, and you will get to, actually that was the high point. So $77 was the high point right there for, outside of like this major come down. But I'm not really even using this as a reference point because, like, this was a different time and they weren't even in Bitcoin. Bitcoin did not exist before this. So I'm not going to, pump it up all the way to here and say, oh yeah, they're going to hit $3,000. That doesn't make sense. But if they are, let's say they're big enough to do a 20x, maybe, like they can do a 20x from here. So 20 times 11, that is potentially, what would that put them at market cap wise? That's 2 billion times 20. That's $40 billion in market cap. Not crazy at all. That's not a crazy number, especially for a Bitcoin bull run. So let's say they go 20x from here at $11, 11 times 20. That is roughly 220, somewhere in here. We'll just call it 250. We'll call it 250. 250. Let's say they could potentially get to 250. So they get somewhere around a 20x in their stock. And again, that's a good other hurdle. Like this, if they can break this hurdle, I think that's something potentially that could happen, right? Even though they're not doing the same thing over here as they were over here. I think that's an area that we can get to. In the heat of the Bitcoin bull run, I think you will, crypto bull run overall, but I think you will see it retest this moving average potentially. So that's a spot that you could look at. So 41, 77. If it breaks 77, it's probably going to go to 150. It's probably going to go to 150. Nope. Okay, I guess it doesn't want to let me have any more lines. That's fine. 150. Yeah. So, just so, like, again, there's not a whole bunch of technical analysis that you can do on these at this point because there's not a lot of market structure. I'm just looking at key structural levels that we could do because, again, like, this is flat. Like, you can't really do a whole bunch of technical analysis because it's in a range, right? There's no market movement dynamics at this point, and still we're kind of in that range, even though we are moving up. Maybe let's go down to the weekly chart and see where we've been going. Again, perfectly mirrored Bitcoin's trajectory to the downside, and bottomed out somewhere in the summer of 2022. A little tiny baby recovery, and then it just crashed. So this is something that I would call undervalued because, again, people forget about these Bitcoin operations. Like, okay, we may not be in the bull market, but there's still work going on. Like, again, they're planning a whole separate facility at this point. They're planning a whole another facility with a gigawatt worth of power And they've been on the up and up really ever since the bottom of this. So they've broken this structure. They haven't been able to break this, but you're bouncing off of this trend line. We've made it above the moving averages a couple times. And finally, reject down. So we're at the point now where it would be ripe for us to just turn and go to the upside, which is going to coincide over the next couple months with the halving coming up in April, which is going to have huge implications for the mining industry. So we'll see. We'll see how that ends up working out. But I have a good feeling about that one for sure. Like, it doesn't make since we're looking so far out. Like, literally, I'm generally looking all the way out until like 2025, late 2025. It doesn't make a whole bunch of sense to go all the way down to the daily chart, but really, I just want y'all to see like the movement upwards gradually. So, look at a couple more things. Bitcoin price, the miners, what are they doing? Block rewards. So we'll look at this one more time. Going down. I looked at this on the marathon video as well. But we're looking at block rewards. So there was a lot of volatility in the beginning with Bitcoin because, again, it was inconsistent. You may have had someone come online with a miner and like they ran up a whole bunch of rewards and whatnot, and stuff was getting coming out. But over time, you see it's getting more and more stable. The amount of blocks that are getting mined per day or whatever, because the difficulty is going up and it just continues to go down and down and down. So we're at the point now where we're mining about 1,000 Bitcoin a day. Once we get to mid-April to May of 2024, that's going to be cut down to about 500 per day. At least it not necessarily has to be cut down to 500, because if more capacity comes online, we're going to mine more just based on that. But the reward per block goes down. So you have to use more power to get more Bitcoin pretty much. So that was all programmed into the Bitcoin algorithm. Shout out to Satoshi, my bad. Shout out to Satoshi. Hashtag indicators, the ribbons. I haven't really looked at this chart too much, but if I'm looking at it, this blue line is over. It's a 30-day moving average and 60-day moving average. So if the 30-day moving average, this blue one, is above the 60-day, then we're going up, right? So we did have this come back down to here, but right now hash rate is still in an uptrend. It's still in an uptrend for sure. And generally, you see like once hash rate is continuously going up, so is price generally. So that's good. Again, all healthy signs for the mining industry. It's all good there. Now let's look at the options. So I got a new calculator on this one. So making a long call on Riot. Right now we're sitting at $11.22. Expiration. I'm not putting an expiration out until this is a leap. I'm doing leap options with these because we're still that early. January of 2026. So January in 2025 is a little bit too early in my opinion, because I still think they have a long way to go. So 26, I think we could do that. January of 2026. Let's look at how much those options cost. So if I want to do an out the money call, $35 at that point, it's looking like that contract costs about $335. My max loss, again, is $335. Again, we're doing a long call option. Max profit is infinite as long as this keeps going up, theoretically, right? But let's look at where we're at. So we did the whole range. Let's say if this gets to $127. And what did we mark out? What did I mark out? I marked out 41, 77, 152, 93. This one doesn't go as high as the other one. I may have to go back to that one and take a look. But even if we get to 127, which I think we should hit fairly easily, because that's somewhere in this range. And right before this, it's not the clearest to see. 150, right when we get around to this area, I think we'll have enough momentum to actually break through that and kind of get up here. So I really want to see 250. So even if you get to 127, which I think should be a walk in the ballpark, you have taken a $335 bet and you've come out on the other side with roughly $9,000. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's pretty much like a 30x. I think that's a 30x on your money. And again, that's only one contract, so you could double up on your contract. You can get as many contracts as you want. But yeah, that's a $9,000. That's a 30x play, pretty much a potential 25 to 30x play just off of that. And again, that's only if it gets to 127. I'm gonna go to the one that I used in the past. Your options profit calculator for Riot. We're going to do a long call option for January 2026, $35. Again, these are roughly about $3 an option, $300 a contract. We're going to do a range of 0 to 275. 275. And again, not saying that it's going to get 275, but I just want to see what that looks like. At this point, if it really gets up to 270 or whatever, that is a 27K. What, 23? What am I doing here? Yeah, okay, yeah. So $23,000 off of a $300 bet. That's not bad. Which is, I mean, this is plus or minus that much. The percent of maximum risk, 69x. Yeah, that's really good. So yeah, 23,000 off of a $300 bet. I'm gonna pull the trigger on this one. I haven't just yet, but I am going to in the next week or so. I think this is going to be an opportunity for sure. And again, always, this is not financial advice. This is just potential opportunities. We're just looking at what the financials are, what the technicals are, what the on-chain metrics are, and mining metrics. So all is well. Like, I think this is a good opportunity, and I think anyone who's listening to this right now, you have a chance to get into the mining industry early and profit off of it without having to actually hold Bitcoin. So another play, definitely another play that you can take advantage of. So again, this has been Chris Talks Crypto. Check out any crypto-based resources on christalkscrypto.com, and I will see y'all on the moon. Take care.